This is a recap for Wednesday, May 5th. This is going to be an answer key for all three quizzes that we took, so 15 questions. So if you want to fast forward to the one that you're looking for, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to use this tool to write on the top and maybe highlight a little bit. Okay, so Samara's investment account earns 5% annually, which shows the percent written as a decimal. So 5% means 5 out of 100. And when we say that with place value, it's 5/100ths. This is the tenths, this is the hundredths. So if you're watching this and you missed this, I would encourage you to say 5/100ths instead of 0.05. So that was B. Right, 15/100ths as a percent. This is kind of like the last one, where if we say, instead of 0.15, if we say 15/100ths, then that can go right into a fraction, 15/100ths, and we know that that's 15 out of 100, which means 15%. So that's how we got C on that one. On this one, it was a matter of, I'm going to use a highlighter, of counting up all of these. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40. So 4 rows of 10, that's 40. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So 46 as a decimal, though, it's tempting to have this as your answer, 46, but it says which decimal region could represent, which decimal number could represent the region shaded. So it is, this entire thing is 1.00. So that's what's important to know, is that that is 100% of this. This is 100%. So this is, like right here, that's 0.01. 0.0, each one of these is 0.01, 100th. And 46 of them is like this, 46th of those 100. So that's how we got C, 46.460. A lot of times you see that question with a percent, so the other way we could have thought about this is, I know that it's 46%, and I know that's 0.46. You can always add zeros, by the way, and it doesn't change anything after the decimal point. Okay, fourth one. In this set, each picture below represents one whole, which shows 0.2 shaded, or 20% shaded. 20 out of 100 equals n over 10, because each of these has 10. And so I'm going to divide this by 10. So I divide this by 10, and I get 2. So B is the one that has 2 of them shaded. And the last one in the first set, what percent of 80 is 16? So of 80 means 80 is on the bottom, is 16 means 16 is on the top, equals what percent? So this means it's out of 100. So we could simplify this, because 4 goes, actually 8 goes into this twice. It goes into 80 10 times. It could even be 1/5. So 1/5 equals n over 100. So 1 times 20 is 100. 5 times 20 is 100. 1 times 20. So that's where we get C, 20%. And let's take a look at the next quiz. Problem number 1 on the next quiz said Mr. Thomas said that 30% of his students received a grade of A on the math test. Which decimal is equivalent to 30%? So 30%, if I divide, decimal points right there, and I divide by 100, that gives me the decimal. So 0.30 is the decimal. And that's how you go from a percent to a decimal, divide by 100. The garden has an area of 400 square meters. The lawn is 30% of the garden. Calculate the area. This is a good one for a proportion. So the total entire amount of area in the garden is 40%. Lawn is 30, or 400 square meters, is 30 of that. So this is the part. This is the whole. And we want to know 30% of that. So that isn't what I set up there is incorrect. It should be 30 out of 100. Maybe you noticed that when I was saying it. We don't know this, so this becomes the variable. So that's an important error that I made and corrected. And you saw how I corrected it, because we didn't know the part. It says calculate the area of the lawn. That's the part. So that's where why the variable goes right there. Oops. So I could do a multiplier on this one. I think I will. 100 times 4 is equal to 400. So I'm going to equivalently do 300 times 4 and get 120. And I'm going to look down there, and that's where we get the 120. Third problem said Jane wants to buy this car. The deposit is 2/5 the price of the car. Jane's father gives her 30% of the price. Will this be enough? So what we want to do really is compare 2/5 compared to 30%. So I suggest we change them both the percents. 2/5, we'll do this over here. 2/5 is what out of 100? We're going to multiply that times 20. So multiply this times 20, we get 40. So that tells me that 2/5 is the same as 40%. So you need 40% deposit, and she was given only 30%. So that is no, not enough money. Fourth question says what fraction of the shaded what fraction of this shape is shaded? So on this one, it's 3 out of 5 are shaded, but that's not one of the choices. So my suggestion is to try to see if you can make this equivalent to any of these. And 3 to 5 is not equal to 2 out of 5. And the numerator is bigger here, so that definitely can't be the case. Numerator is bigger, so even without any multiplier, it has to be this one. And it turns out 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9. So it is equivalent to 9/15. That is C. And the last one in this set is a table of soccer players and their percent save. And it's supposed to be ordered from least, the smallest number, from national soccer team goalies, order from greatest to least. So I want the biggest number. So 64, 71st, if I just grab a calculator and I do 64 divided by 71, I get 0.9014, and it keeps going, so I can round it to 90.14%. And 0.906, that's 90.6%, and we have 90.4%. So this is the greatest. So that is Chantel. So that would be B, because she's the only one that comes up first. And then just checking, Amber would be the 90.4, that makes sense, and then Christina R is the lowest. All right, that is it for the second set, and here is the third set of quizzes that we did today. The chart shows the number of riders on each ride at amusement park, which one had the least number. So 45% I can immediately just eliminate because it's bigger than, it's almost half. So bumper cars is a decimal that I can change to a percent, 15%. 1/20th, and I'm going to come back to this one because I recognize this one's 10%. That way I know this one's out. So if I do on my calculator 1 divided by 20, I get 0.05, which is 5%. So that makes the carousel the least number of riders at 5%. Certain stock increased by value of 467% over 10 years. What is the percent? Written as a decimal. And I gave a hint out in class today that 1.00 is the same as 100%. And 2.00, I didn't say this, but that's 200%. And so on. 3.00 is 300%, or 3 times the amount. This is all the way up to 4.67. So 4.67 is 467%. So that's A. The purchase price of a bicycle is $140. The state tax rate is 6.5% of the purchase price. What is the tax rate expressed as a decimal? So 6.5%, that's the same as 6.5%. That means 6.5 out of 100. And if I do 6.5 divided by 100, then I get 0.065. Boy, if I could just get more students to understand that this is a division problem. 6.5 divided by 100, and just use your calculators more to get that idea. That would be great. And again, I've made an error on this one. It looks like it has an answer of C, and it needed to be expressed as a decimal. So the decimal is C, but it looks like the correct answer has been put in as A, 6.5. So the state tax rate is 6.5% of the purchase price. What is the tax rate expressed as a decimal? So that one, when you get the correction, is going to have to say Mr. Loftus had a typo. It is 0.065. I've corrected here in this recap. All right, second to last one is 2/3 of Kodiak Island's 2 million acres has been set aside as a wildlife preserve for the Kodiak brown bear. What percent of the island is a preserve? So this is a good one to memorize. That 2/3 equals 66 and 2/3%. Just a good one to memorize. It's kind of like 1/2 is equal to 50%. Or 1/4 is equal to 25%. So it was D, 66 2/3%. And the second to last, or the last one, was 9 is 75% of what number? So 9 is, puts it in the numerator. 75 out of 100 is the percent. That's because it's percent. So we put a variable right there. And this is the same as 3/4. So 9 over n equals 3 over 4. And we can do a multiplier. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. That's where we get 12 for an answer right there. D, 12. Okay. And the last thing I want to do is I want to put the steps that I wrote down for finding percent change. Step 1, find the difference. So for example, if I want to know from 20 to 25, what is the percent change? I need to do 25 minus 20. 5 is what I need, the difference. 2, divide the difference by the original. Divide the difference by the original. So 5 divided by this original of 20. And when I do that, I get 0.25. So when I do that division, I'm going to get some decimal and then change decimal to a percent. So 0.25, I multiply that by 100, and that's 25%. So this is from 20 to 25, that's a 25% increase. All right, that is a recap for Wednesday, May 5th.